Hi, everyone, and welcome back. So, in this module, we are going to talk about online course strategies, methods, formats, just to make sure you are picking the format and style that works best for you and your working style and your audience. So, there are a couple different options for you and different ways you can launch your course, different ways you can talk about your course and package it up. So, I wanted to make sure that you knew about all the different options, and that way after this module you can feel confident that you're doing the best that you can for your audience. So let's get right into it. Okay, so the first, I guess, type of course is the signature high ticket course. And this is, I didn't even look up the definitions on this, so don't quote me, but it's, in my mind, anything over $500, and it's basically your main offer that fuels your entire business. Of course, you can have different affiliate income or different income coming in, but people who have a signature high ticket course, this is really their bread and butter of their business. And you don't need a lot of students to make significant income when you have a really high ticket signature course. So this means that you're putting all your effort into one course that is probably $500 or higher. It could even go all the way up to $10,000, but most courses are in the $500,000, $2,000, $3,000 range. And this is something that you are creating like a really big transformation for someone. And this is the bread and butter of your business, where you are creating, sales funnels and everything around this signature course. Everything you talk about is about this signature course. So, you can really make a difference with your business with the signature course. And let's talk about that now. So, um, I'm going to talk about some positives and, different things that are great about each type of course, and you can pick what works for your business. Okay. So, what's great about a signature course is that, in my opinion, when students are willing to invest a little bit more money into kind of a transformational signature course, I believe you're going to be attracting people who are committed to grow, learn, and change. So sometimes, and this is just the nature of it, if you had, let's say, $100 course, it's not that people aren't necessarily committed. It's just you need more students to, I guess, bring in more money, obviously. But sometimes $100 course can sometimes be like an impulse buy for some people. They don't need a lot of time to think about it, which also has its positives and negatives, of course. Impulse buys are great. However, you do want people who are committed to showing up, logging into the course, and they are ready to invest the time to take your learnings and teachings. So, in my opinion, sometimes when you have a higher price course, you can attract students that are really willing to commit to change. Maybe they're really frustrated and they are ready to really throw down some serious money for this. Now, there's always exceptions to the rule, but typically you don't, you know, panic buy a $1,000 or $2,000 course. You really think through that decision. And when you decide to invest in a course like this, usually you do show up and watch the content. Now, from a business owner perspective, again, this is something that could be a positive. You may feel less scattered promoting this signature course because you can spend all your time perfecting your sales method on this one course. You're not going to be pulled in a lot of different directions. And I do think this is a good way to scale because you are so focused on your one offer, your one signature course, right? So whenever you show up on Instagram or YouTube or Pinterest or whatever, you're always talking about this signature course. And eventually you will grow your audience and make more sales. And I believe you can scale quicker that way because you do have just all your time is going into your one course. Now, there's also people who will say, well, different revenue streams are really great as well. And when you're starting out, you want more revenue streams. So I also see that argument that you may, when you're starting out, want different revenue streams. But in my opinion, having a signature course does allow you to scale because your focus is on one thing. So you're trying different things and you're improving your method. And if you look at some of the really big business owners, a lot of them really have one signature offer that they are promoting all the time. I'm sure there's exceptions to the rule. And of course, revenue streams are nice wherever they're coming from. But there is something to be said for putting all your eggs in one basket and making sure it works. So that's just some things to think about. Maybe you have kind of a gut reaction to what I just said on whether a signature course would be right for you or not. Another option, obviously, you could create mini courses or shorter courses as kind of like part of a series or like tiered content, right? So, this is, in my opinion, usually under $500, and they can be used in conjunction with many offers or in addition to one on one clients. I like to think of it as like short sprints of knowledge to take your students from point A to point B on a quick topic. And so you could obviously group smaller courses together and create bundles. You could have a series where they start from basic and then they go more advanced. Instead of putting it in one course, you're creating multiple courses. Or you could just do little topics on mini courses on totally different topics that aren't related to each other. And of course, you could sell those all as digital products. So, there's other examples there of people doing this and coming up with, having really successful businesses with this as well. And, you know, if you think about it, obviously smaller courses really do take less time upfront. You're not recording as many modules. You aren't putting in the time, as much time on maybe a sales strategy. Maybe you're throwing together some shorter email sequences. Maybe because the price point is a little lower, you're getting more impulse buys. A lot of different things. A signature course really does take a ton of time because you really have to think through. You don't want to put too much information in there, but people are paying, if they're paying $3,000 for a course, they really want a big transformation and they want a lot of content for them. So you can have levels of content where your students, quote unquote, graduate from one course to another, or have courses that help on different stages of their expertise, right? And one example of an entrepreneur that I think who does this very well is Becca Luna. You can look her up on Instagram. She has online courses in Kartra that are kind of like shorter mini courses, and they all have a specific purpose, but they kind of all complement each other, I guess I'd say. So someone who starts in her one course will also be a good fit probably as they go and learn from her for her other 5 courses. So again, she's kind of selling to the same person, which is nice. Or there may be someone who comes to her and they're starting with one course and that's all they want. So, just that's another option to see how she does it as well. And many people may be able to afford your lower price courses, but again, you may need more students coming in to make significant income. Of course, obviously, that's just the math of it. So, smaller mini courses, I think, are well, I think they're really great if you use them also in conjunction with each other, like I just said, like Becca Luna, because they all equal kind of one signature experience through your learnings and your teachings. I don't want to say you can't have one $100 course and scale to a really big business, but if you think about it, one mini course at $100, you're going to need a lot of students to come through that mini course to make significant income. So, in my mind, maybe grouping a bunch of mini courses together to kind of have a full experience and kind of those shorter sprints, or doing a signature course. But that's just my personal thought. I'm sure there's exceptions to the rule, and there's someone out there who has millions of dollars from a $29 course, which actually there are people who I know who do have that. So, you can make anything work as long as you believe in it. Okay, I am going to mention a membership as well. Obviously, a membership is not an online course, and I know the focus of this my course is really on online courses, but technically you could kind of make a membership like a course. And so that's why I'm mentioning it here just as another option, because a lot of software programs you can create either a membership or a course. So a membership is usually monthly content delivered, usually for a smaller fee. So this is recurring money per month. So maybe typically think of it in the $19 to $197 per month range. So again, you would need more students to, or more members to come through your membership to make significant income. However, it is recurring revenue. So that's one thing that you don't have with a course. With a course, you get maybe payment plans, but it's a one-time fee usually. With a membership, it's recurring revenue, and they cancel at any time, kind of thinking it like Netflix, for example. So also the positives of a membership are that you could kind of build content as you go per month, and then you could technically kind of retire from building content, right? And still sell the membership if the content is relevant, and kind of sell it more as like a library. People are getting a monthly access into the library of content. That's another option. And so don't feel like once you sign up for a membership, creating content for a membership, you have to create content for the rest of your eternity, right? So, a lot of things to think about there, but I just wanted to mention a membership just because some of you may like that model even better. Okay, now we're going to get into different course formats and launch styles, I guess I would say. So, first we have the passive versus live launch. You might have heard these terms thrown around, so I just want to make sure you know what those mean. So, a live launch is where there is an open and closed enrollment period. So, basically doors open, people can enroll, and then the doors close. So this is where you've seen those emails where people are like 3 more days to enroll, and then you can enroll for the rest of the year, right? Or the rest of the quarter. These are open and closed launches. Typically, you do need a little bit more high energy to promote these because let's say you're promoting your live launch for 10 or 12 days. I mean, that you got to show up every day talking about your course in that period, and selling it and promoting it, and you can really get high levels of income into your business in that short period of time. This is where people have like $15,000 launches in a couple of days. Like, it's literally insane, but it's a lot of high energy. So you can have big bursts of income, but then again, when the door's shut, you may not get income until the next time you launch. So there's positives and negatives to that as well, of course. I had tried live launching. I realized it was not for me. That's not to say it's not for you, but it just wasn't for me because of I had to be on for so much and promoting. And I really I like promoting my course kind of on the back end through email sequences and, kind of a slower burn where I could get a sale out of the blue. That's more my style. So that's called passive launching. So this is basically where you have an online course and students can enroll at any time, any day. This is where you can wake up to a sales notification that someone enrolled in the middle of the night across the world. I love that feeling. And so that's what passive launching is. There's no open and closed enrollments. Of course, you can do discounts or promos or sale periods. You're not locked into always that same price or anything, but you're basically using your automated back end systems to make sales regularly. So this is where you put a lot of time and effort into those sales funnels, people call them, your email sequences. This is where you may have like a Pinterest strategy, or making sure your website ranks on Google. Like, all of these things can help bring you in sales passively without having to do that live launching. So one option is to start with a live launch and then go passive. some people, some of my students just like to go straight into passive. Some people love the high energy of being on and doing webinars and doing live Facebook lives and all of that. They love that. And so they love the live launch. So a lot of different options there, but I would look into kind of your personality style and what you think is going to bring in the most income for you across the entire year. Okay, so you may have also heard of this, the self-paced course. So you can do a live launch or a passive launch, but then you may want a self-paced course as well, in addition to. So this is where all of the content will automatically be available in the course after the student enrolls. So the student hits the buy button, they immediately get all the content. They can binge watch it that night if that's what they want. So, really, with this method, the only extra work you have to do once they enroll is to answer questions if you decide to have a course community. So you can have like an additional course community where people come in and ask questions, or maybe they have accountability. Maybe they meet other students in the group. You encourage them. So if you decide to have a course community, really you would just have to log in and answer their questions every day, um, and just check to make sure there are no questions. And but technically, all the content is already done up front, and they log in and they get the content. Now, of course, you have to keep the content up to date. Periodically, you have to make sure the modules are relevant and people are paying for good content. But really, the self paced course is the most flexible type if you want to go on vacation, if you want to, um, you know, I don't know, set up a paternity or a maternity leave. This is where you really can walk away from your business and still make money because they already have all the content there. And then drip fed content can also be flexible. But this is good if you don't want your students skipping ahead. Maybe they have to follow a specific order with their content and you want it unlocked on a certain date. So the content is still pre recorded, so it's still very flexible, like the self paced course, but it's drip fed to them either on a weekly or a monthly basis typically. So, most course platforms do offer drip fed content, and it's still up to them to complete the content. But they only have access to the lessons that are available as they are released. So, this could be really good format for those people who, I don't know, like a workout boot camp course or something, or there's something where you have to go week by week and you really don't want them skipping ahead or skipping around, or you want to keep them on pace. This can be a really good way to keep them accountable is through drip fed content. And typically in your course software, you'll just pick which date, or like after they enroll, they'll get the content, this module 1 week later. They'll get this module 2 weeks later. They'll get this module 3 weeks later. So as you can see, it keeps them on a schedule. So still very flexible, because they're getting the content delivered to them as they go through the weeks. Now you could pair live launching with the drip fed content, or you could do passive income, like a passive course with the drip fed content as well. So, it's super flexible for however you want it. I'm also going to mention about a group program, like a group course. So, this is where the content is drip fed to them, right? But the students go through the course at the exact same time. So, this would actually be something that would be paired with the live launching, because obviously, if students are going through the course at the exact same time, you need to have open and closed enrollment. So, this is where you open and close the doors on set dates, and you only enroll during certain times of the year, which is live launching. And this can be bursts of income, but for some people, this could be more draining because, you have to be a little bit more on, right? You have to maybe have, um, maybe check-in calls or something where you have to keep them accountable. Like usually when people join group programs or group courses, there's kind of an added bonus of like, accountability or connection or additional live modules with them because they are all going through the course at the same time, kind of like a cohort if you think about it in like a college or something. So this can be bursts of income, but one positive to this is if you're the type of person who really wants to create a sense of community with your online course and have accountability, I think a group course, a group program could be really for you because they're going through it together. They're going through and they're probably meeting people online and you're having that experience together. This would also be really good for those people who have one-on-one clients, but you love the idea of online courses, but you're nervous to leave that kind of that connection with your clients. A lot of people love the idea of passive income and online courses and all of that. And they love the idea of pre recorded content, but they are a little worried that if they switch to that model, they're going to miss something. They're going to miss that connection with their clients. A group program would be really great for that because you could basically have pre-recorded content for them and then you're coming together as a group monthly or weekly and having that connection. It's just on a larger scale than one-on-one. So that's just another option for how you could kind of format your course. I do have students who do like this type of course and they really thrive with this type of course. Like a passive course just wouldn't work for them because there's not that connection. Okay, a live course. So I mentioned this because this is similar. This is where your students would go through the course at the same time together in a live training scenario, let's say on Zoom or something. And the reason I mention this is because obviously that would be one scenario. You could sell that as you could have every, 3 months you do this live course. But I want to mention it because what you could do is do it as a live course the first time and then take those recordings and trainings and basically turn it into a passive pre-recorded online course to sell over and over and over again. So maybe you really love live interaction with people. You don't want pre-recorded content. You could do that the first time. And then, of course, since we're talking about like online courses here, you could make it passive and do all that pre-recorded content. So another option for you if you really love live webinars and workshops, that kind of stuff. Of course, that we have a hybrid course, and I don't even know if this is the official name. This is what I call it, but this is where the content is pre-recorded, but then you add an element of live bonus or check-in calls or Q&A calls, kind of to add that sense of community. So this is still pre-recorded content. This is basically you are putting all the work up front into pre-recorded content, but then you also have some bonus or check-in calls, Q&A calls, and you will meet with them, every week or whatever, where you can just kind of check in with the people coming through the course. You can then drip feed the content to them, and really the only live element will be those calls. Of course, this takes more work to show up to an online live call, which some of you love and some of you hate. But it will. The positive is that it does create a stronger sense of community, of course, if you are hopping on to answer questions live. At this point, I do not do that. I do all my questions offline in a Facebook group. I don't do live calls, but that is an element that you could definitely include in your course. And here's some additional money add ons. So let's say you picked one of these formats, something sounded really good to you. You could remember you can always monetize any of these extras to make more money on your course. So you could add one-on-one support or two-on-one support as students go through your course. So you could sell your online course passively, let's just say, and then you could say, if you want more connection with me, I will add one-on-one support, and you can add like a VIP package or something like that that costs a little bit more. Um, and then you've um, got the option to add support after they've gone through the course. So the first bullet is where you are adding support while they're in the course, or you could add it after they graduate from your basics course, let's say, and then they go to a VIP support to work with you one on one. And in my opinion, this can have premium pricing because you're diving even deeper. So maybe let's say you have a one on one nutrition business right now, and you are like, I want to transition to online courses, but I don't want to lose that one on one connection. You could create an online course, self paced course that goes through the basics, everything that you teach majority of your clients. After they graduate from that course, they can then work with you deeper at a premium price with the one-on-one clients. So you're still taking one-on-one clients, but it's just at maybe a lesser level. You're not, filling your entire day with calls because you have that income coming in from your online course. So a lot of different options there if you do want to also include one-on-one. You can also do Voxer support as a premium add-on. If you haven't heard of Voxer, it is an app that you can message people. It's like a one-way message. So your clients or students can message you questions, and you can set aside a time during the day that you're going to answer your Voxer questions, right? So let's say from 9 to 10 a.m., you're going to answer your Voxer questions, and you can answer your students' questions, get back to them. They can ask questions at any time of the day. You can get back to them at any time of the day. And so it takes away that feeling that you have to set up a call or message to reply to every single student individually, right? You're really maximizing your time here and blocking your time to say, I'm going to reply to these Voxer messages at this time. So this also keeps that community, that connection with your students. You can offer that, and it gives your students the chance to ask you questions 24/7, which is a nice bonus for some course creators. And then, of course, you can do bundled courses or digital products, extra services, functional testing, any kind of testing or analysis or downloads. You can add those as bundles and extras to make more money. So you can say, okay, you can get my top 3 mini courses all together for a discounted price if you order them at once. Or you can say, if you want to do some testing and my online course, it's this bundled price as well. So many options. I'm just running through a couple examples, but honestly, however you want to format it, there's probably a way. A lot of these course software programs are very flexible as far as taking payments, as far as setting it up, how to drip feed it, all of this stuff, whether you want pre-recorded or live content, like it really is pretty easy to do. And another option is you can add bonuses, of course, or have any tiered content. So you could say, okay, if someone enrolls in the next 3 days, right away they get extra bonus lessons or something like that. Or if they enroll, if they're the first 100 people to enroll, or 10 people to enroll, or 5 people to enroll, they get an extra one-on-one call with you or something like that. So many different bonus offers, and people really do take advantage of those bonuses a lot of times. Or you can have bonuses for everybody. Like if you enroll in this course, you're also going to get this extra content. And that extra content can either be from you, or the bonus can even be from some other experts in your field that you've worked with. And maybe you've got pre recorded content that you could add. So many options there for bonuses as well. With the tiered content levels within a signature course, now this is more advanced depending on your software. So, not all course software platforms do this, but I'm going to talk about with Kartra because I use Kartra. You can offer tiered content levels. So, what you can do is you could have a signature course, like we mentioned, that first slide, but there's tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3, and they all have different price points. So, for example, you can say, okay, here's some basics, here's some more advanced, and here's the expert level or whatever. Let's just say those are the tiers, and they each have a different price point. So, people can start with that basics tier and upgrade for more content whenever they want. So that's another great option. Like you can have all your content bundled in one with different tiers, or you can separate them out into different mini courses. Honestly, it's so crazy. However you want to package it. And then basically with that, it's your student is paying for different access levels. And so whatever price point you set up for the different access levels, that's the content they're going to get, and then they can upgrade at any point. This can be a really good option. Of course, it's more advanced, as I mentioned. So maybe you'd want to add this later, maybe not starting out with this, but this is a great option for people who want people to get in their course, and maybe it is a signature course, but they know that the price point is a little high for a lot of people. So it's like, well, how can I help people who can't afford $3,000 or $2,000? Well, I could offer them a part of my course or the beginning part of my course for 500 or something like that. And so you can chunk it up like that if you think that would be really good for your audience. Okay, so let's now talk about types of content you can include in your course. And of course, this is also super flexible. And I'm sure there's a million things I haven't even thought about that you could put in an online course. So you can do videos talking over a slide deck like I have here, where you have like a little video. You can have the video or not. There's different software programs which can give you the option to have a little video, or you can just have the slide deck with your audio over it. You can record audio files or like meditations if you're in the health and wellness field. Anything that's just audio, kind of think podcast like audio recordings. You can add workbooks, guides, checklists, roadmaps, cheat sheets, downloads, which are all just fancy names for like extra content in different formats. You can have a course workbook that helps them go through step by step and kind of helps repeat the content. A lot of these extra guides and checklists can be helpful for people who learn in different formats. So maybe they don't learn the best just watching videos, and maybe they need some reinforcement with an extra checklist or an extra guide that can just really enhance your course. Again, you don't have to start out with all this stuff. These are the bells and whistles you can add as you get going, right? You don't have to launch, you can launch your course without a work course workbook. You can launch your course without, downloads and things like that. But I do know students do sometimes like extra reinforcement, the content packaged in another way. You can add kind of a list of your favorite products or affiliate links as another resource, different trainings you can send them to. You can add discounts to products. Let's say you are in the health and wellness field or something else where part of access into your course gets them special discounts that they wouldn't have otherwise. That's always a nice perk for students. You can add quizzes or checkpoints to make sure that they understand the knowledge. You could do demos recording your screen. So, of course, this is really good if you are in the tech field or anything where you'd want to show a video, not a video, but like something on your computer screen. There's technology to obviously record your screen and upload it as a video. You can add your own podcast episodes as like additional content. I, of course, wouldn't have an entire course of just podcast episodes, but you could do like additional podcast episodes to reinforce certain content. I have done that before. You can use older group calls or recordings. Don't feel like you have to have brand new content for every single module. If there's a really good interview you've done with like an expert or something that's already pre-recorded, you could add that in as a module. And I wouldn't do maybe every single module like that, but definitely you could disperse them throughout the course, and that content is just as good as it was the day you recorded it. You can add recipes or any supporting materials. So hopefully that got your brain kind of going on different things you could put in an online course. It definitely doesn't have to just be talking over a screen like this. So my recommendation, because I know that was a lot, is start simple and grow from there, because that's a lot. And that's going to be overwhelming to you if you're like, well, I want a workbook and I want tiered content and I want affiliate links. Yes, all of that will happen eventually. but we want to make sure you have a first launch and get your course out into the world right away. So maybe make a first course launch plan and then make your ideal course launch plan. So where are you going to start? And then what's your goal to get to, right? Like what's your ideal business? And then, try not to get overwhelmed. My recommendation is maybe start smaller. Let's say you want to create, you want to create a signature course that's $3,000. Maybe you start with a mini course or a part of that course. Start smaller and sell a course for 250 or 400 or 700 and then grow from there, because you can always add content, you can always increase the price, you can always add bonuses later, but my goal is to make you money, as much money as you can right out of the gate. So, and I do think you learn from people in your course and that connection. So, start simple, get some modules recorded and launch from there. And then you can grow, you can improve your email sequences and your sales pages and all of that, your bonuses, all of that later. Because I don't want you to get overwhelmed, because this is an overwhelming process. And I want you to make sure you're getting a course out into the world as soon as possible. So hopefully that's good advice. And of course, come into the Facebook group if you have any questions. So upcoming, we have so much more to talk about. I'm so excited. We've got more to talk about what course platforms are out there and you can pick, how to pick which one you'll use, what to look for in course software, how to record and edit content, how to create your outline and pick your pricing. And then, of course, I want to talk more about passive income. If I know that's a hot subject for a lot of you and you don't want to do the live launching, you want to go more into passive income. So I'm going to obviously do some modules on that as well. So much to talk about, but hopefully I want you to take after this module and write down your kind of beginning launch plan and your ideal launch plan, and let's go from there.